So now I'm just waiting for people to start coming in. I don't know. I was like, why isn't it not showing the stream? Posting. And I will post in Discord as well. Cause why the fuck not? I was gonna post some new announcements, but then that might bring somebody up that I do not want. So post it in general. Okay. So, first of all, that's quick that we already have like 30 freaking people watching. I've asked Sir Mikey if he wanted to join panel, but I don't think he's available for tonight, but that's okay. So, there's one episode that Steve and Megan have created called Is the Conjuring House Drama Over Now? I figured we would watch that first and then do the Balskin house from Scotland. Well, yeah, it's 4 o'clock for you, but it's 6:12 p.m. for me. So that's why I'm saying tonight. Cause me and Mikey are at the same time zone. I know you're only 2 hours behind. So, oh well. Usually, like I said before, I've been trying to keep the channel on track as far as, well, my main channels and this channel, as what it was before everything that's happened. So, oh, should I be worried? Oh boy. Well, this is kind of interesting then. Earlier we had a little visitor that didn't know he was coming at all because I heard his voice walking through the house, and I'm like, that voice sounds familiar. I wonder if I'm just hearing things. Yeah, I know. I always say that as like some little joke that I have for a lot of my friends actually. Um Because they will say something, I'm just like, oh, should I be concerned or worried? And they will literally respond with, maybe, maybe not. And I'm just like, well, that's not helpful. Um, so yeah, I guess I do have a background. Only problem is, I bought an inflatable chair from Five Below. It, it worked perfectly fine all day yesterday and all day this morning. I think ever since we had the little visitor, I think he broke it. I stuck whatever the box had as far as like patching it up. Didn't work very well, so I duct taped it. Still didn't fucking work. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with that inflatable chair. I used the chair that my laptop is on as far as sitting in it for the mainstream earlier. That was so uncomfortable because that was hurting my back. So I'm really, really hoping that next Saturday I'll have a desk. So I don't have to freaking use this chair or anything else for this computer. But also, that reminds me I have to figure out in this room on where I'm going to put what as far as the desk. If I can get a chair the same day, that would be nice, right? And move whatever's over here somewhere else. It's very tricky when it comes to having a small, tiny room. Because as of right now, I've got space, but gotta figure it out. Oh. Excuse me, Ghosty. What's the question? Also, Ghosty, the fuck? Did you really just text me saying that I broke it? How about show up and chat, dear skater boy? Oh, this little thing? Um, Sorry to be an ass, but, I actually got this from, well, okay, it's a very long story. So a friend of mine named Pikachu, who's also a pain in my ass. What the fuck? Nick? Yeah, pull up, Skiber. The fuck does that even mean? Um, this is a Huon, I think. I got this from GameStop actually on clearance for sale. But this entire thing, but the Huon I got from Amazon, I think for $20, if I'm correct. 25, at least 25. I don't know what I'm trying to fake it till I make it. Huh? Mac, you're concerning me there, bro. What are you saying? Also, apparently we have a scaredy cat texting me on Facebook Messenger, telling me that I broke something. Today I walked through the biggest spider web I still. Oh, dear God, Mac. Ghosty Plays, aka Krusty Nuts. Sorry, had to say it. We've been choosing his nickname for the past, week or so? He went from Crusty Nuts to Father Crusty Chicken to Mother Crusty. We have really good microphones. Rode mics with the podcaster board, but the boom arms we bought are spring loaded and noisy. Yeah, you might want to change the K to a C. There, Mac. It's that crusty. I think he's too scared to type in the side chat. I went through. Well, I still have my old microphone. That's worse than this. Still hate it, but I somehow still have it. But this is my better one. I bought this for two reasons. Because it's got a gain button, but you can actually mute yourself when you turn it. But you can also make it to where if you want everything in the background to be heard, you can turn it that way, which turns blue. Then you can turn it all the way green, which is just noise cancellation, I believe. So I like that, and the microphone changes colors. I like it. Damn, I would have sent you a Shure SM57 if I knew you hated your old one, but I've sold them now. Oh, I love RGBs, so that's why I got this one. And I've had this for 2-3 years, I think. I actually got this when I the first year I met Sammy and Mac. So at least 3 years, maybe a little bit longer, I've had this mic. Still works. But I'm gonna tell little Ghosty here that he's a scaredy cat. Because he is a scared cat. My phone wrote EU instead of RU. Damn. That's when you know I need a new phone. The fuck? Phone. The things that has happened this entire week is just entertaining. So I didn't stream yesterday because I needed like a straight full day of just not hearing Chelsea for one thing, but also my entire body just needed to like not do any sort of streaming at all yesterday. So, which is nice. Cause Jesus, when I tell you that Chelsea takes out your entire soul all day, I mean it. She sucks your soul right out of you. And it's ridiculous. So we're gonna do the Conjuring House first. And then we're gonna do the Bosclin House, which I think there's something in it that I don't know about yet.
Welcome back, everyone,
Hello,
for
hello.
another reaction.
Yes.
It seems like the time is finally upon us.
Oh, the time. That
Now,
time.
before we say what it is, I mean, you'll know from the title, but my original idea for a video this week was going to be going in and you remember the mean tweets thing that I think, who did that? It was like Jimmy Fallon or somebody.
Yeah, I think so.
We were going to go in and kind of do a version of that where we were going to go through the Conjuring's Facebook page and, you know, read the posts and the comments because I thought it could be a good laugh.
Yeah.
They got kicked off of Facebook.
They're
gone.
I know, it's crazy.
But they made an Instagram account. So I
Okay.
was like, hey,
we could do that.
we could do that.
Yeah.
But then when I went to check today, it's gone.
Bye, Felicia.
It's gone.
So the internet.
The internet. Yeah, that place.
Said, no.
I mean, it was only a matter of time. I could only imagine how she is going to get her message out there. I would imagine she's going to maybe move over to TikTok.
I don't know.
I'm trying to think. I mean, we're old, so I'm not hip with all these different social media platforms, but I would imagine she needs to be somewhere popular to get her message out.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking if she isn't already, she'll be doing this on TikTok soon. But as far as, you know, the drama that's been going on, it is silenced now.
Wow.
It is silenced. Now, other things have come up this week. There was somebody, Jay Cart, we've talked about him in the last video, was being followed by accounts that were linked to the Conjuring House, Jacqueline Nunes, Cody Satori, and all these people. Turns out somebody's making fake accounts.
Stop it.
And coming after people.
What?
Yeah. Like, this is getting deep.
I do have to admit that that's the way that narcissistic people are. They, well, not just those, but also like Karens, Kens, trolls. They just, I don't know what their intention is besides annoying the living shit out of you. Because we've had, I'm gonna question what the fuck I just read in Facebook chat. That we've had some trolls in here. We've had some trolls on my main channels as well, which, to be honest, I've had probably 10 times more trolls on my main channels than I do here, which is, I guess, interesting. That's what they do. Like, they don't give a fuck about anyone, okay? They only do it for their own entertainment. They are just bored and they just want to do whatever they're apparently good at. And apparently there's a new thing going around because it's not just for YouTube. Actually, is it for YouTube at all? I don't think I've actually seen one on YouTube. But on Twitch side, because, well, also a creator on Twitch, and affiliated, that there's people coming in on Twitch just with random names, but saying cheap reviews on, and it's been going a lot more. I think it started like 3 weeks ago, maybe. It's been going on for quite a bit, but it's just, they're bored, and that's all they really want to do, so they just do it to annoy the living hell out of people. They don't care if they are annoying you more, because that's their entertainment, is to annoy you. So the more they annoy you and you get pissed off, the more they're gonna do it. But also, they don't care if they get banned, because they're just probably gonna keep on doing it. I suppose I have one troll. I don't know where this dude came from, okay? Don't ask me. But there's a guy on my YouTube side constantly coming in with a new name. Like, I would probably say every 3 months, maybe. It used to be almost every single day for like 3 years, and now it's like every 3 months, possibly 2 or 3 months. A guy who I know as the Red Rabbit Bro. He'll come and ask you a question, and he'll ask you a question of, can you draw me a rabbit? So he will start being nice, and then he'll start like demanding you to draw him a red rabbit, bro. Last time I did that, I finally gave in and was like, you know, fuck it. It's like this has been far too long. And I finally drew him a picture of a rabbit. Not a red rabbit, just a rabbit. Can't tell you that rabbit scene, I thought I was gonna piss him off until he, I guess, came back and was like, oh, I still have that on my wall. I'm like, that's not creepy at all. The rabbit that I drew him, guys, was me as a rabbit, literally punching him in the face, knocking his ass down, and flipping him off. I mean, he's also a rabbit too, but like, why are you keep asking me to draw you a freaking rabbit? Like, I don't understand this. Like, how is this your entire job? How is this your entire life? Like, that's all you care about is asking people constantly for years to draw you a fucking rabbit? Really? You got some issues going on there, bro. You know? The fuck?
What?
It's getting deep. Yeah, it's getting pretty crazy. Now, there is other paranormal drama in the world. I did see something today that if it unravels a little more, maybe we'll talk about it next week.
Okay.
But apparently, old favorites of the show, Sam and Colby, are getting trashed on by Seth Borden. I didn't watch the video yet, so maybe it could be clickbait, but that's what I took it as. So we may have to check into that.
Okay.
But for now, we are going to focus on what will hopefully be the end of the Conjuring drama.
Well, we can
Hopefully.
only hope, because I think that it has gotten quite out of hand. Quite out of hand.
Like Aleister Crowley once said, it got out of hand.
Yeah, that's right.
But I did find a Simply Strange video, same, Ben from last week. I enjoyed it so much that I thought I'd let him tell us what actually happened
Okay.
and see what we think about it. I'm honestly really just happy that she's gone. I'm so tired of reading about it.
No more.
Yeah, I mean, she'll probably watch everything that comes out on her now. So
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hey, Jacqueline.
Hello.
But let's get into this. I'm super curious as to maybe he has some insight of what actually went down.
I am very intrigued.
All right.
I'm very intrigued.
Let's check this out.
Okay.
The Conjuring House situation just took another twist and yet another turn, as the Instagram page that everyone seemed to think was Jacqueline Nunez's new outlet after her Facebook page was taken down, was also taken down. So obviously over on Instagram, by looking up the Conjuring House and looking at the current pages, as you can see, it's no longer there. The one that we were talking about, the one where all the posts were made, no longer there. And then going over to Facebook, still absolutely nothing. There is no pages, no posts.
This is true. I went on and I looked on all these platforms. I tried searching in different ways, using different names, and they are wiped.
So the internet ghosted them.
I got ghosted.
Um. So if they all got wiped, see, this is another reason why. I mean, yes, I do have an Instagram. Do I fucking use it? No. I've seen people or some of my friends literally send me messages on Instagram that I didn't even know that they did. Like 5 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, months ago. They forget that, yes, I do have it. Do I use it? No. Am I on it every day? No. The only platforms I'm literally on, like, every single day is sometimes Twitter. But mostly like YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and Discord, really. That's about it. But if they got wiped, I wonder if someone had their IP address, maybe? Like, if some hacker got their IP address and just IP banned them. Because usually, when someone like that gets everything wiped out off of, like, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever it is, it's because someone got their IP and got it IP banned. Meaning they can't literally do anything unless they deleted them themselves. Otherwise, it's a 50-50 shot that they got their IP banned. Not 100% sure on that, but that's all I'm gonna say because it's all I know about this stuff. So
The internet ghosted the Conjuring House.
Mark Zuckerberg ghosted her.
He got his revenge.
I mean, look at all the trash he was talking about.
So much.
So yeah, I can confirm. I tried to look for something because I thought it would be funny to read comments, and it just doesn't exist. It's
Wow.
gone.
That's crazy.
It's gone.
No people, no photos. Well, there might be some photos, but
Yeah, there's probably
not
photos.
on the official Conjuring House page. Everything thus far is gone. Okay, very, very odd. So obviously, the page was taken down yesterday, and there was a specific reason as to why the page was taken down. Looking over on
Ooh,
Brian.
what do you think it is? I think this will be if we do this sometimes. What do you think got her page taken down?
Maybe slander.
That's pretty good, actually.
Maybe like just slandering way too many people, and it just got too much attention. Maybe.
Yeah,
What about you?
I actually probably think the same thing.
Oh, okay.
So let's see if we're right.
Brian Dancero's Facebook page. Everyone that's been wondering and asking about the Instagram page in question was removed, and it was not the owner everyone thought it was. So that's kind of led me to think, well, what does that even mean?
What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean?
Like, this was where I first saw it. I was like, whoa, like the page, like that Instagram page isn't legit. Like, what? And then I got I got sent this image, which is from Satori, from Cody and Satori's Instagram story. And Satori said 13 minutes, ages ago, she said, "Hi everyone, it was confirmed that the Conjuring Instagram page that's being talked about recently was not actually the owner, and I know that it was removed because of this. It was proven and Instagram swiftly removed the page. I do also know that there were statements made about the staff on the post in the Facebook and Instagram. It's from an original Facebook post that was copied. Thank you for keeping us updated and being so caring. I want to keep you all informed. Please be careful who or what you trust online," which is a completely fair sentiment. And
Interesting.
That's obviously
It
led to a
bamboozled
lot
us.
of questions, because obviously Jake Hart's art was
Man,
quite
he's getting a lot of recognition.
consciously attacked
Good for him.
by this page. He was, the things were brought into question, and it was very weird, to say the least. Like, he was targeted. There was a post about him saying, "I'm watching you," and then there's more stuff. Turns out that this person was just a troll, just dummying the Conjuring House. And I mean, Jake Hart has taken this very, very hard because obviously he created a video that I reacted to yesterday where he was saying this is absolutely legit. You know, this has been cross-referenced by multiple people. I've cross-referenced it myself.
So I go to
Jacqueline.
his office. So what do I find out, man? What do I find out?
Here's the proof. And it turned out to be fake. And he's taken that very, very hard. He even posted on my video yesterday saying, hey, hopping on and saying
I think some of this is when it happened, he made a video saying that, you know, the Conjuring House was following him and they're saying weird stuff like we're watching you.
Mhm.
And I think he's just being too hard on himself because in his opinion, he made a video that wasn't true.
Yeah, and then he came up, I think, with an apology
He did.
video as
So
well.
I mean, you
So,
know
like,
what, Jake Hart, come on, man.
It's all
you're
good.
you're good.
Yeah.
You're good. Anybody would have done the same thing, and at least you made it right.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's hard to like keep up on a lot of this stuff. Like you got to make a video and literally the next day things can
Oh,
happen, you know? So,
Yeah,
like,
well, I mean, even by the time this comes out, there will probably be something new.
oh yeah.
I mean, I know there
absolutely.
will be.
So don't be too hard on yourself.
Yeah.
Forget about it.
I messed up. It seems that the account was owned by a convincing troll and not the owner of the Conjuring House. My deepest apologies to everyone. And I've pinned that comment so as many people can see it because people were saying, where's the Instagram page gone after yesterday's post? Where's it gone? Turns out it was just a troll. And over on Jake Hart's YouTube channel, obviously he made it's coming to an end. I think the Conjuring House drama, and obviously the owner apologized to me. People need to be aware of all the rest of it. But then there was this video here, which says, Satori and Brian confirmed the account was fake. My apologies to the Conjuring owner. And I think it's only fair that we highlight this video from Jordan because it is very remorseful. And I think he's taken this quite hard. But
He's a stand-up kid.
in all fairness
You're all right, boy.
to Jordan, you know, I don't think people are looking too deep into this
Nope.
or as deep as Jordan is because, you know, this situation was completely exacerbated because he was obviously roped into it personally by having a post made. There was his Discord issues, you know, of course it got very heated and it became very personal for him and he wanted to make sure that he dealt with it appropriately. And by doing that, he went onto his YouTube channel to deal with it appropriately. Completely fair, respect it. And you know, the troll was very convincing. There were posts made. Obviously, there were copy and paste posts over to the Instagram page from Facebook.
Yeah,
we know that now.
I saw that.
But at the same time, there were posts made that from behind the scenes stuff that, and people had commented on it of personal experiences from going to the Conjuring House. Now, I have my own theory on that I'll talk about at the end of the video, but I think it's important now to highlight this from Jordan because he is very remorseful. He does apologize, so let's take a look at what he's got to say.
Channel, your local bedhead here. So as you can see on the side of me right now, these are a couple of the posts I have been seeing. Some of them were posted about 30 minutes ago to an hour ago. So this is something that's now coming out. So the Instagram page was removed. We all know that. And now we're getting word that this person was not the owner of the Conjuring House. Now, I have not seen any proof, like 100% proof that would say otherwise. I'm just going by what they're saying, and that's fine.
I have heard it from multiple sources who have been messaging me over the past kind of couple of days. Well, not couple of days, over the past kind of 12 hours. And
I actually see what Jordan is saying. You have to take everybody's word. Everybody can send you whatever
Yeah.
they want. They can send you the same stuff that you're showing us. And I guess unless Instagram itself sent you something and said, yeah, we took this down because it was fraudulent.
Yeah.
Like, how would you actually know?
Right. Like how would you know ahead of time or at the time or even after unless you were informed like he was
Yeah.
afterwards? And I think he might be being too hard on
Oh,
himself.
he's definitely being too hard on
because
himself.
like things happen.
But he's dedicated to like being truthful.
Yeah,
And honest.
absolutely.
You know, like
And that shows a lot.
he
character.
doesn't seem to shy away from liking the things that he wants to like and
Mhm.
disliking the things that everybody else likes. Like he's his own person, but he's definitely being too hard on himself when it comes to this topic.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't be.
who have said that, you know, sources close to Jacqueline have confirmed to these people.
Again, though, that's
I'm
just
not going
somebody
to name
saying
names
it.
because they've asked not to be named. That have confirmed that this, you know, this is nothing to do with Jacqueline whatsoever.
They are saying it was not the owner, but a lot of them actually thought it was. there was a lot of people who truly believe that this was the actual owner, because whoever was impersonating her did a hell of a damn good job. She's made so many unhinged posts on the real official Conjuring House website on Facebook. That you would almost believe almost anything. And I certainly was one of those people.
That's what makes it believable when a troll
Yeah.
comes on, though, is that you can be as wacky as you want, and it's believable because of what she actually did.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And what she's made around herself falls in line so much with all of the stuff
mhm.
that has been going on.
Yeah,
I do want to point out that honestly, I think that happens a lot to many people that really shouldn't have. Because I'm in a group with a community who has been so nice to me ever since I first met him. I was like, don't know these people, but they took me and they accepted me and like almost immediately. What the fuck am I hearing? But like, not only that, a lot of them are, still coming to my channels, still supporting me. So it's like, there's too many of that in this platform, even on Twitch too.
I can see her doing
So are we going to go and say that the text messages to Jason Hawes weren't her either?
this. I mean, I guess she could do that.
Like, what?
I don't know. It's confusing. Unless, I mean, it's okay to say, yeah, I'll believe it because everybody's telling me
Mhm.
that, but you will never know for 100% sure unless one of the actual platforms reaches out to you and says, yes, it was a fake
Right.
account.
When all of a sudden someone jumps into the Discord, starts doing all of this stuff, then I start slowly getting confirmation by people around the paranormal community saying that this is actually her Instagram account. And I started really to believe that this was in fact the owner of the Conjuring House.
Yeah, and a lot of people did jump on it and say, yeah, this is her legit page. I had it from a few people saying, this is her Instagram page. Like,
No, it wasn't me. It was the one-armed man.
she's just shuffled everything across because Facebook's gone. And then there was the whole stuff about appealing Facebook. And then, there was some unhinged posts, and it just seemed very parallel. And,
Mm-hmm.
everybody was like, yeah, this has got to be it, because
Yeah.
there's posts from things that we haven't seen yet from the Conjuring House. If you remember that lens flare photo that I showed you guys, that one was on there. That wasn't originally posted to Facebook, and there was another one on the stories, and the person who actually booked and visited commented on that Instagram post specifically. But again, I've got my own theory on that I'll talk about in a moment.
I feel like an idiot. I won't lie to you. I'm not proud of myself in the slightest. I don't feel good that I made all those videos. I hope Jacqueline Nunez and most of anybody can understand where my mindset was coming from.
I think he's looking at it wrong. I think he should be proud of himself for posting those videos because
Absolutely.
he showed to everybody like, yo, I will call you out.
Yeah.
If you're doing this, I will say something.
Mm-hmm. As
So-
he should.
I think he's just young and he probably just wants to make sure he comes off the right way to everybody. But
Right.
I think I don't see anything wrong with anything he did.
I don't either.
And the fact that he came back and corrected it, to me, it says he's a stand-up guy.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I hope he gets past it quick because he doesn't deserve it.
No.
I'm very glad I did not go unhinged myself and say a lot of things I felt like I would have regretted.
Do it! Just do it!
Now knowing what I know. So I think it's easy. I think it's safe to say and confirmed to say that whoever posted those inappropriate pictures on my Discord was more than likely just a random troll. probably somebody who had no relations to Jacqueline Nunez at all, probably just wanted to start beef, which was a theory that we did certainly have in the beginning of all of this. It's just our mind started changing once we started seeing the posts on Instagram.
So as a person who has been a victim of, like, people saying certain things, doing certain things, let alone in my chats, that is morally the reason why I keep my main channels controlled the way that it should be controlled, but also my Discord as well. I don't just randomly let random people joining my Discord. You know what I mean? So I have rules, and it seems to me that they've been working. So he's not wrong. And I do feel bad that he couldn't see it before, which not a lot of us people do see that kind of stuff first. You know what I mean? So it's technically not really his fault. He shouldn't really be apologizing. I do agree that, you know, he should do exactly what he is doing now, like Stephen Megan has. So I'm on their side on this.
Once I started seeing the text messages from people in the paranormal community confirming that this was Jacqueline Nunez, I really started to feel like this was the actual person. Now, on my part, that is my fault. I should have looked into it more. I do go by, a lot of times, I do go by what people say, who I think are very trustworthy people. And I guess this was just a situation where all of us were kind of fooled.
Got him!
I'm definitely not the only one who thought this was truly the owner of the Conjuring House switching over from Facebook to Instagram. I'm certainly not the only one.
You weren't. I thought it too. And, you know, I do also owe...
I saw in multiple groups, multiple posts, most of us believed it was actually them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And all of us showed up to go read it. So, yeah, that's a fair thing to say. Everybody believed it because it was being pumped out to everybody. Like, hey, if you want to keep up with the craziness, this is where you can find her.
Yeah.
So,
and honestly, there wasn't anything to say otherwise either. So
no, but I guess, and to be fair, I guess you could just make one and make it look like that. But
yeah,
that's again, like, he doesn't know.
Right.
I really hope I like him a lot, and I really hope he gets over this. But it does seem like he is moving forward because his latest video has nothing to do with the Conjuring House.
Yeah.
He's covering the topic that I was actually talking about earlier that we might move to and watch some of his videos next week, where he's covering the Sam and Colby and Seth thing.
Oh, okay.
Which is, that in itself is funny to me.
Apologies to people that, especially Jacqueline, because though things have been pretty turbulent, and I stand by what I've said regarding the Facebook page and how people have been dealt with, you know, the Instagram page, wasn't legit. And, you know, I brushed her with, because of how similar the posts were, I brushed her with the same stuff, tarnished her alongside with that, and I do apologize to Jacqueline for that, sincerely. And you know, not that I think she watches this at all, but if she does by any means, then Jacqueline, I am sorry that I tarnished you with that brush.
Let's take a little bit of the yellow, reach up here and grab a little black. We put that in there, that'll make a beautiful green color.
And blamed you for the things that was going on with Jordan in particular, and his Discord and all the rest of it. So yeah, I'm sorry.
This seems to be a moment where we kind of got bamboozled.
We've been tricked, we've been backstabbed, and we've been quite possibly bamboozled.
We got somebody out here trying to start YouTuber beef with each other. I think this person's agenda was to try to get everybody so pissed off at each other, get this drama continuously going. This drama might have ended a lot sooner than expected. And for that, I'm actually happy to hear that this Instagram stuff could be officially deducted as nothing more than a troll account, trying to go after people, trying to make people uncomfortable, trying to just insert a level of drama and hatefulness and cyberbullying on top of things that were simply and clearly already being handled.
Like I said as before, a lot of that actually has happened. Mostly on YouTube, and it has on Twitch. It's still weird.
It was all
I did not mean to unpause it quite yet. I mean, I've been part of a whole bunch of drama that shouldn't have happened. That also had nothing to do with me. There was 2 people that kept bringing me into some drama that was really not me involved, but like they got me involved into it. Shouldn't have though, and they knew that they shouldn't have. You know, I told them not to. But yet they did anyway. One of them, I believe, created drama about me after they broke the 3rd chance of being friends. So that's when you know I've been through it. I'm still here because I just brushed it off like it's nothing. I still do what I love to do because I care about my channels, and I do obviously care about myself, but I morally care about people that, you know, are entertained about my channels. I don't, like I said before, I don't do this for like views in money or anything like that. I just do it because I love doing it, and it's something that I actually enjoy. So those of you that are not on that side, you can go fuck yourself. Those of you that are on the side, well, welcome, and hope you stay.
already to a point where it was so bad already, and whoever did this wanted to amplify it. Disgusting behavior from whoever did this. I really hope legal action is taken against whoever made this account. I really do.
Yeah, and I stand by that.
I do too, but I don't feel like they're going to find out
I don't either.
because people make accounts all the time.
Mm-hmm. All
So-
they can do is shut down the account, and that's pretty much it.
Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down!
So,
But it is crazy. Like I don't know to the extent of like what was said to him in his Discord and all that because I don't do Discord. But I mean, it must have been pretty bad
yeah,
because seems very unhappy.
poor kid.
Yeah.
Because I think, you know, ultimately this is trolling, you know, of course, by definition.
Stop trolling me.
And Jordan's Discord was affected, which has got children in it, and there was NSFW posted within that, which is utterly horrific. Like, come on, man, behave yourself in that sense. Mimicking someone and then making the situation, which is already at a boiling point, worse, to the point where, you know, you've caught the attention of people who are already kind of within the sphere. And, you know, you're creating more content and then continuing to make someone that's not actually involved look bad. Like, you know, there could have been some serious repercussions for Jacqueline Nunes if Jordan decided to take this further. And he was like, yeah, this is borderline. I'm not happy with this.
Harassment. Yeah.
You know, this person's posting this saying that they're watching me, and then posted a few stories talking about how I'm watching you and how creepy it is. Jordan could have taken that a lot further.
Oh, wow.
And Jacqueline Nunes, because of the belief that this was her page, could have gotten a lot more trouble unnecessarily and unfairly. And, you know, that in every respect is utterly wrong. And that's not deserved for Jacqueline. That's not deserved for Jordan, because then that would have caused a massive kerfuffle for him, you know. And at the same time, there were innocent people caught in the crosshairs, like people in Jordan's Discord server. So, you know, whoever did do this, you know, fair play for doing such a convincing job, but at the same time, it was a bit of a douchebag move.
Yeah.
And to Jacqueline Nunes, I do apologize. 100%, I apologize. If this is 100% true, there's no if, ands, or buts. This person was an absolute troll and was faking this account the entire time. I apologize. I should have looked into it more. And
normally when we do these reaction videos, I'm in a much more lighthearted mood. This is kind of bumming me out.
I know.
This is like, this isn't even fun.
It's not.
It makes me feel bad.
It does. And he seems so genuine in his apology, and like that his feelings are actually like
hurt.
Yeah,
his feelings are hurt. And I do agree, like, it's as much as everybody goes at Jacqueline, it's not fair to her.
It isn't.
You know, because for once it wasn't her saying the crazy thing.
I mean,
so we're told.
I just don't understand why go after somebody and be like, I'm watching you, and like involve other people. Like, I don't get it.
Well, I mean, because everybody's covering her, so it's like the obvious person to pretend to be.
I guess.
I don't know. It is just so weird that somebody is so bored and pathetic that they are at home making an account to fake somebody to start problems and give problems to somebody else. And this kid has like been building his YouTube and he's doing good. Like, you should have went at somebody else.
Hey, why don't you pick on somebody your own size?
Somebody else who you weren't going to be able to really interrupt, and that would come back at you 10 times harder.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So whoever this troll is, what a weak move. You're a weak person. So weak.
No, Jordan says there that he should have looked into it more. There was no more looking into it possible.
Yeah, you couldn't.
The only way, right, that you could have absolutely, without 100% shadow of doubt, credited this as a genuine account is to go to the source, Jacqueline Nunes. But right now, Jacqueline's not talking to anyone.
Good.
All right. Like, you know, you've even had the news, like local news shows reaching out to Jacqueline for comment, and she's choosing not to speak to them.
Good.
Why would she speak to a YouTuber who's covering the drama? She wouldn't. I don't believe she would anyway. She might do. I could be wrong. It's unlikely. But at the same time, you know, I feel like Jordan's been very hard on himself in that sense because, you know, we had sources coming to us saying, you know, I had sources coming to me saying this is legit. This is her page. This is where she's putting everything now. Keep an eye on it.
Everybody believed it was
Jordan
her
had
page.
the exact same. So as far as and these were like reputable people within the context of the situation. At least for me, it was anyway. So I was like, okay, this is the real deal.
You trust me. I got your back.
And you know, I'm just as disappointed as Jordan is in the sense that it's not anyone's fault. I'm not pointing fingers saying you've led me down the wrong path. No, I'm not doing that whatsoever because nobody was to know. And that's the point I'm trying to make. Nobody was to know that this was not a genuine Instagram account because it was so convincing.
I thought it was real.
I take full credibility for everything I've said, everything I have posted about this whole account.
Hey man, stop being so hard on yourself.
I second that. I take full credibility for everything that I've posted about this Instagram account because I've made, I think, 1, maybe 2 videos on.
Luckily, we didn't do a video on it. we were going to.
Yeah, we caught it on the tail end.
I mean, I just feel so bad.
I do too.
The situation, and you know, I've been less than fair to Jacqueline in that sense because it actually wasn't her. So yeah, I take full credibility for that.
Gave views to a troll. I gave views to somebody, a profound idiot. I'm not proud of myself. I'm actually very disappointed in myself. Again, I hope everybody can understand where my mindset was, why I truly believed that this was the owner. I'm certainly not the only one. I had a conversation with Satori Haas not long ago, going over a small conversation about the Instagram account and whatnot, and she found some things odd. I assumed that what she asked me was, how was she able to use Discord? She was never a tech person. And I just assumed it was very self-explanatory. Once you click on the link, you can just make an account and then join. That's what I thought. So that was my mindset and where I was thinking that's what she did. Clearly, it shows that I just do not know everything. I was going by the word of some people, still people I trust 100%. But I think if this really is the case, where this was a situation of it being a troll, and it's beginning to lean more into that possibility, then I apologize to every single person here for throwing these accusations out there without knowing 100% that this was in fact the owner
But
of the
there's no
Conjuring
way
House.
for you
and
to
I wasn't
know
going to say nothing.
100%.
That's probably why it took me a while to even make that post about the Discord server and the inappropriate picture, was because I was kind of waiting for confirmation. And then when I had some people reaching out to me and telling me on my live stream that this was in fact that person, I was like, okay, well, now I have confirmation. But I should have waited a little bit longer. And for that, I do apologize. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Do you think this is 100% a fake account?
I think it is.
I think it is, because it's gone.
Yeah.
And when I was listening to him, he said something about there was like a inappropriate picture posted in there.
Mm.
And I mean, I'm not going to say that like she wouldn't be able to do that, but that's not really her MO.
Right.
Like she'd maybe go off words wise, but
Yeah.
a picture, I don't know.
With a strong letter to follow.
A strong letter to follow. God, I hate that. But I just he's just being too hard on himself.
He
I
is.
can't say it enough.
And he couldn't know. He couldn't have known.
Nobody can know for
No.
sure anyway. I
So-
mean, we can all speculate, but there's no way to know for sure.
I think it is. I'm going to stop Jordan's video there. If you want to check out the full thing, I recommend you go over to his channel. He also did a live stream where he talks about it a bit more in depth. So I highly recommend you go and watch that as well. But like I say, I don't think that Jordan's at fault. I don't think anybody is ultimately at fault for this, apart from the person that created the Instagram account.
Mm.
That's not me deflecting blame. That's not me trying to be like, we're not in the wrong. Because yes, we are in the wrong for creating the video without getting solid proof. But like I say, without going to the source, who's probably not going to talk to us anyway, we got pretty solid confirmation from people around the idea. But like I said, I've got a little theory. Potentially, I can't point fingers at all on this whatsoever. But there was obviously a post that was made, which kind of confirmed to Jordan, confirmed to me, and it was kind of like, yeah, that does make a really good point. Was the person who obviously posted there was the image of the Conjuring House experience that this person had there. And, you know, the person also commented on that talking about their experience or whatnot. Could that have been the person potentially that created the page? Like I say, no definitive proof. Cannot say
Could have been a million
categorically that's
people.
absolutely the case.
Could have been so many
It's
people.
only a theory. But, you know, like at this point, who even cares about that Instagram page? I think the less attention that we give that, the better.
That's where we're going to end it with him. I think this may be the last thing that we touch on the Conjuring House for a while.
That's fair.
We were only just reacting to the things that were going on. You know,
Mhm.
we're not really, I've said it in the past, we're not adding anything to this.
Right.
And I'm ready. I'm ready to do something new.
Yeah, I don't want it anymore.
And it's just, you know, she's gone and she's not really talking to anybody anymore. So the battle is won for now. At least it's for now.
I mean, still boycott the Conjuring House.
Yeah.
But I mean, unless there comes like some legal ramifications for the messages that Jason Hawes turned over or anything significant.
Yeah.
And it's getting
old. It's getting old.
And it's getting like more minuscule type things, you know,
I
where
want
it's
to
just like little bits and pieces of little stuff. Like
I want to get back into watching questionably paranormal stuff.
me too.
So, I mean, it's up to everybody what you think, but go show Jay Cart some love. I feel like he could use it right now.
Absolutely.
And his channel's worth it. You'll like it.
It is. He's great.
I guess go follow Simply Strange and check out our podcast that we also put on here.
That's right.
And we'll see you guys on the next one.
Bye.
Every time. as far as what has been said about that, I don't blame them. I'm on their side. I can't tell you of how quickly I, for some reason, started to jump on to the drama train of like, but the Conjuring House, because here's the thing, right? I love paranormal, and I've seen Sam and Colby about the Conjuring House. So I think that's why I was like, oh, I should a review on that. But then remember how quickly I got off of it to where I didn't want it anymore. I wanted like something else that was, not boring. Just because like a lot of the things that were said were like repeated. Same shit was, just constantly going over like in a circle kind of a thing. So I do not blame them for not wanting to do anything with the Conjuring House. I'm the same way. But also, as far as like Discord and other channels, having beef with each other, like I said, I've had that happen. And I quickly got onto like, no, this is not allowed on my channel or even in my Discord. So I have full control over that. But that's another reason why I have trust issues. I can only trust certain people, and they know who they are. Some of them are still my moderators for my main channel. A lot of them are moderators in my Discord themselves, and on my YouTube channel and Twitch channel if they have both. So like one of my main moderators that has been here on this channel and my main channel is Christian Carpenter, the Trusty Ape, and 420 Atheist, aka Sammy. Those are my three main moderators on all of those. I was waiting for the noises to stop. And now let's move on to this episode.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to For the Booze.
For the Booze.
That's right.
We are back for another week, and this is a special one.
Yeah,
It
you
is-
shared a little bit with me this week, which was rare.
It is a very interesting topic. We're going to start this off. I got to ask you a question.
Okay.
What does Harry Potter, Hocus Pocus, Bedknobs and Broomsticks, and Wizards of Waverly Place have in common with this episode? Absolutely nothing, because they were all pretending to be witches and stuff. But the topic of the week, they weren't pretending. They were doing.
Oh.
And
Okay.
a lot of this story people will know from a certain individual who lived here. But there is more to the story, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And this week, we are going to be doing our first episode in Scotland.
Yeah.
You know, motherland of my people.
Yes, I'm so excited.
Scot-Irish, but and we are going to visit a very infamous house called the Boleskine House.
I'm sorry, but I was not expecting that. As I don't really expect anything from you guys, but I literally, my dumbass self, decided to take a sip, and as that little part just happened, I almost spat my drink out. And yeah, not a lot of people may have known is that Steve and Megan are my relatives. Well, mostly Steve, but Megan is his wife. And I do have a little bit of Scotland in me. So he's not wrong. Scottish, Irish, or Irish, Scottish, whichever way it is. I have them both as well. So it doesn't surprise me. But I'm sorry, I almost spat my freaking drink out. Oh my god.
Boleskine?
Yes.
Okay.
And it was the former home of two very...
Are you trying to tell me that I kept saying the name wrong last week? Oof, that hurts.
historical figures, one who is still alive, Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin, and of course, the beast of Boleskine, Mr. Aleister Crowley.
Mr. Crowley.
Hey, don't get us copyright. Come on now.
Can't help it. I'm sorry.
This is a very interesting story. There's not as much towards the end as I would normally like, but I honestly think...
I forgot Mac is also one of my main moderators on both my channels and my Discord. Not just Sammy, Trusty Ape, and Christian Carpenter KCC. I already forgot about him, and then I'm like, oh, let's not forget about him.
think that a lot of the stuff that happens towards the beginning makes up for it.
Oh, okay.
It is wild.
Well, I am super
It
excited.
is wild.
Wild.
Wild. So get your cool whip and join us for this very intriguing and magical tale
Ooh, dang, that was quite an intro.
of Boleskine. Let's get into this one.
Let's do it.
Now, the parish of Boleskine was formed in the 13th century when the Church of Rome began expanding into the Scottish Highlands. So this goes way back.
Wow.
Way back.
Okay.
A church and a graveyard.
Wait, what? Is it coming up, or is it like... Did I already miss it? As far as the hanging candle. Because if that fucking moves, there could be something there that is very interested in this. Really? I guess I just never paid attention to that.
Were built in the parish around this time. A succession of ministers ran Boleskine parish and would travel the area on horseback or on foot in all weather conditions. Now, long before accounts of occult magic and hauntings, Minister Thomas Houston.
Oh yeah, no, you're fine with the typos. I do it all the time. Also, I'm now noticing that, yeah, that thing is moving above her head. So what the fuck? I wonder if there's something that's really, like, do you guys feel like a cold air or something? Or does she feel something maybe like above her while that's moving? Like, I don't know how you guys didn't talk about that at all. But yeah, I feel like I've butchered the name last time, so I pretty much said it wrong. I kept saying Bolskin when it's Belskin. Oof.
Was even said to have had the task of hastily laying animated corpses back in their graves after a devious local wizard had raised the dead in Boleskine graveyard.
Oh, I'm sorry. What?
And this story was actually uncovered by a dinner guest of a man named Malcolm Dent, who was friend and housekeeper during the Jimmy Page era of ownership.
Wow.
I mean,
how?
I'm sorry, her fucking reactions. So, what I can tell you is, because I don't know if you actually know this, but, when it comes to moving place to place, as far as, like, you might thought of you left them behind, but you really didn't. So, like, for me, for instance, right, we've had a lot of experiences, a lot of paranormal in the old house. I kept saying that whoever you are not allowed to come with us at all. You are not allowed to attach us at all. The only one that I still have around, which I'm okay with, is my little sidekick, Courtney, and possibly Little Miss Adeline Rose. And oh, I was not expecting a voice message. I do remember the thing on your reaction camera. I do remember that. Video message incoming. Or voice message incoming. Oh, I was like, huh? Confused? Oh, I do remember the pulling the shirt part. I remember that. I know that wasn't faked, too. There's a lot of things that I can point out in people's, like, videos who do paranormal and stuff like that, like you guys. I can point out of what was actually real. Because I know you guys. I know you guys don't pretend or fake anything. So when it comes to that stuff, I already know. Because I've had similar things here in the old house, though. Don't know if she's gonna come in the door or not. Don't ask by my accent. It just comes out.
I mean, who knows if it's true? This is the legend, the story anyway. I've never seen an animated corpse come back to life myself, but
yeah, no.
you know, times were different.
Yeah.
I don't know how different, but they were different. It's a very interesting story. And Boleskine Graveyard, Boleskine, I'm going to keep doing that. Boleskine Graveyard is, I believe the house sits kind of like it's in the Highlands. It sits kind of on a hill.
Okay.
And then just on the bottom of that hill is the graveyard. So the house was built on the ruins of this minister Thomas Houston's they called it a kirk. It was a church. And and every kirk had a manse. And a manse was the minister's like little house. And this house was said to be so incredibly poor that it barely had walls, and the floors were lined in the bones of the people waiting or people buried. And it was so much so that there was an account by a traveler during that time period who said when he went to visit, even the dogs on the property would run around with human bones in their mouth.
What the?
Yeah.
What?
It's a different time. It's a different time.
Obviously.
But just to give you an idea of what it was like during that time period. And let's be real, during that time period, lots of legends and stuff came out of that.
Well, yeah.
This is also right on the coast of Loch Ness.
Ooh.
It's in that
So
area.
you got all kinds of stuff going on over here.
So it's a spooky little area to
Okay.
begin with. Now, Boleskine House is allegedly built atop the ruins of an old minister's house that became ruined during the 18th century. The house overlooks Boleskine Cemetery at the foot of the hill, which is home to old war graves from the Jacobite Rebellion. Now, the manor and the cemetery are allegedly inexplicably linked by a tunnel leading from the cellar to the graveyard, possibly as an escape route for the church, or an entry point into the house used by the gentry who own the house. The manor also overlooks Loch Ness of Loch Ness Monster fame. And from what I understand, this tunnel really does exist.
That's really cool, actually.
Very cool.
That's really cool.
Now, it is rumored that before it transferred from the local parish to private ownership, that Boleskine stood as a military installation or lookout point during the rebellion.
I do want to point out, I don't know if you wanted me to have the stream here, but I did hear your voice message. I don't know if you're still listening. I know you still have me on the TV though. Okay. I just wasn't sure because some of it I think we have viewed. Oh, what the fuck's going on with my mouse here? As far as like your shirt being tugged, we saw that on stream when we were reviewing that episode and some other thing too. So that part we already know, but I think we also heard about Connor. Didn't know it was Megan's grandmother though. That's new to me. But for the people that don't know, I am gonna play the audio again so you guys can actually hear it of the things that poor Steve and Megan have encountered. This is something. If Sammy was here and he was listening to this, he would probably be fucking speechless. But he's not here and I don't know what happened to him. Haven't heard from him since Friday morning, I think.
We lived in our old house. It was a house that we were asked to live in because it was my wife's grandfather's house. He was alive when we moved in. By the time we had left, he passed away. But his wife passed away in the house maybe like 15 years before that. We used to see shadow figures. We heard voices. We saw glowing things in the bedroom, knocks on the furniture. And we always associated it to Megan's grandmother because when Connor was like 3, he told us that a nice old lady used to come into his room and talk to him at night. When we moved, nothing happened here until just recently for some reason, right after about a year of living here. It's the same kind of stuff that we had in Florida. So we're assuming whatever it is we brought with us, because we have a lot of stuff from her grandparents, because they both passed away. So we own a lot of it now. But yeah, it's interesting. The candle above her head is the only one that moves. We've noticed it here recently, but we did a reaction video, one of the earlier ones, like one of the first ones we did, where we were sitting in the chairs, and I bring it up on camera, where I just kind of stop what I'm doing and I look over at Megan, because I felt somebody, not just like I thought I felt something hit my shirt. I literally felt somebody tugging at my shirt.
So those are the things that Dave have encountered. I can tell you right now that I think the reason why they haven't actually left you is not morally just because you still have or own a lot of their stuff. Not really more of that. It's more on her family, and they don't want to leave per se. What they're basically doing is they're saying hello. They're wanting you to know that they're still around. I mean, for one thing, when you said something about glowing eyes, that kind of scared me a little. But then you said it was her grandmother, so yeah, no. I kind of figured you weren't, but they are trying to say hello, and so they just want to, let you know that they're still around and whatnot. So that's a good sign. Usually, I mean, I know Chelsea has had some weird shit at her house, but that has nothing to do with me. But at the old house, though, someone, part of this family, kind of, has told their boyfriend, like an asshole, hey, yeah, by the way, the house is haunted. Why the fuck would you say that? When the person is afraid of paranormal stuff, and he was like, hey, I just want to let you know I feel like I'm being stared at by something on the stairs. And then he gets immediately told that, oh yeah, by the way, the house is haunted. That kind of makes me want to smack him upside the head for that. You do not do that. That's something you do not want to do. Felt bad for the poor person though. But I've heard things whispering in my ears. I've heard running around on the floor. I think we had, I mean, I'm not 100% sure on this. As far as I know, as far as all the experiences that I've had, which to this day I have questions for. Like the mirror that I had on the wall. I had a pink tulip in a plastic bag itself. I think it was a fake one anyway. Otherwise it would have died, which yeah, it actually was fake. So I don't know where my brain was going. It was literally between the wall and the mirror for years. For quite a long time. I think since 2018, maybe, if I remember. Either 2017 or 2018, unless it was for my 16th birthday. It was a little bit longer than that. But I've had it up there for quite a long time. It was never touched, never moved, nothing. One day, I'm just minding my own business. Before bed, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna, say goodnight to the people I had photos of, my first grandfather, and some family friends, and I think one of my friends too. I literally had their photos just up on that mirror. And I said goodnight to every one of them, and out of nowhere, I felt like weird cold air just right behind me. There's went whoosh for some reason, and that pink tulip just fell on the floor. And I was like, okay, that got me. Not as far as like I got scared, but like I cried. Because that could have been my first grandfather. It was either him or our family friend DeLuca. I had a great bond with the two of them, so it was either between those two. It is crazy. The other one that I've had was I think I was trying to go to sleep, but I had my back turned like out, not against a wall, I guess. I don't know how else to explain it. I think my brain's losing brain cells. Yeah, exactly, right? So I was just laying down, had myself facing the wall, my back not facing the wall, and I felt like a cold imprint on my, like, just literally a big hand touching my back. And I quickly fucking turn around looking in my room of like, what the fuck was that? Where did that come from? Thought my mother maybe have came in the room and she never did. I've been hearing, like feet going back and forth in my room at one point. Don't know where that came from still. Also, we have another family friend who has a daughter. Not gonna say the name, but when she was younger, she would come in the house and she also has a gift as far as like sensing, kind of seeing some things. And she saw that there was like a figure, just a tall black figure, standing at the bottom of the stairs. And I'm like, oh great. So I don't know if that one was actually bad or not. But then there was one spirit that this one actually was very, very interesting. So in the old house, the living room that we had, there was windows that kind of are similar to this, but bigger and further away. There was a chair that was in front of those windows. Her and I are downstairs in the living room on the couch on the other side of the room, literally like where the stairs are. And I'm not even kidding you when I say this. This is where it interested me to more of this, if you will. So since she could see and kind of talk to spirits, I can talk to spirits, but I can sometimes see them. The only times I can only really see certain spirits is if they're in my dream, showing themselves to me, or if I just close my eyes and blink of an eye, I will see a face. But we were just doing our own little thing. She saw what looked like a crying woman sitting in the chair. She asked it to move. And I'm not even kidding. When the crying woman was sitting in the chair, the room was kind of dark, the light was blocked. when she asked it to move, it got up and light came in. So I was like, oh shit, something actually really was sitting there. So that's when that's not something you can fake. We seem to also have like little kids too in the house, which I don't know where they or who they really belonged to. I could not find anything more about the house itself really. But like I said, the only two kids that I know that are still around with me, because I trust them, they're actually not bad. Technically, you can call them my two little sidekicks, Adeline Rose, who's Sammy's daughter, and Courtney, who is funny. She loves to pasteurize the shit out of Dragon. Even if I ask her to, she'll go for it for her own little entertainment. It's awesome. She helps out as well, as far as like you can even hear her through the spirit box yelling at something. And it's like, never thought that would ever happen. But like, I have had a little temper tantrum child literally pulling my like wall plug out, and I'm just like, really? Are you having a temper tantrum right now? I've had a shirt move on camera, so that you're not really the only one. I remember the first time I said something to Sammy about like things happening in the house, let alone in my room. I still remember to this day what he said in my chat. He goes, if I see that little stuffed animal that you got behind you just start walking, stop, turn its head, and then just continue walking, that he would drop on his knees and just immediately believe in paranormal. There's a lot of things that not a lot of us know that can be really faked. Because like I said, I've had some experiences. I've had a little girl whisper in my ear of my friend's name that I still have questions for. Although he did open a spirit box or a portal without knowing anything about it, so that was his own damn fault. As to why he had shit going on in his house, I did warn him. Also, Steve, you're really not gonna believe this when I say this. This actually still gets me to where there was one day I'm live streaming at night, and I think I was streaming something for like Halloween or something like that, or at least trying to. I get messaged by my good friend Sven, who is from Belgium. I've helped the poor guy, and he's really nice. But he, for some reason, started doing like a spirit box session at his job. I don't know as to why, but his coworkers wanted to do it, so he did or started a session. So he starts literally messaging me out of the blue, because he didn't know that I was even live streaming. But I was actually also in a Discord call with a different friend of mine. And I legitimately cried on stream at this point. This one actually still kills me to this day because when Sven opened up a spirit box session that day, and he sends me a message of, "Hey, are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, why?" He goes, "Well, I opened up a spirit box session and I heard a little girl voice sing certain things, saying grandpa, grandpa," and I'm like, I don't know what you mean by that. Well, I think this had to do with either my first grandfather or my second grandfather, but I'm gonna assume it was my first grandfather, because what he said next was, I keep hearing a song that says, "My Little Sunshine," that song being played, that had to, I don't know. He said some things that immediately made me think of my first grandfather. And then he said that the word grumpy. I fucking died. And then, I guess the spirit kept saying that, that he would, or no, she kept saying, Silver's crying, Silver's crying. So that's when he asked me, "Are you crying?" And I'm like, how do you know that I'm actually crying? That I still have no idea how to respond to. So, literally everything that this little girl was saying immediately got into as far as grumpy. And I was like, oh fuck. Let me read of what you wrote here. So I have a strange belief that paranormal follows this family. There are a lot of us who have had... Oh, I do not disagree on that one for sure. Because I can tell you that my mother, for instance, she has actually mentioned to me that I didn't know ever at all, really. That she thinks that she has a little bit of psychic in her, but she's like unsure about it. If I die, I'm haunting everyone. Oh god. At my old job, I worked out of a little shed with fertilizing and pest control. It's where I kept my supplies. It was very old. I swear something was in there. I saw stuff every morning. Well, after some research, the plot of land the shop sat on was an old slave watermelon field, and the house was literally the old slave house. It was freaky. Oh, damn. Yeah, it's hard to really explain someone who doesn't, understand about paranormal, because if you ask them, oh, have you ever had any paranormal experiences, and they say no, then that means that, they probably never really have any gift. So here's what I found out, right? Here's what's really interesting about this so-called gift here. That I believe what it does is it skips a generation or something, or it gets passes down from a person to it will go down to one person, skip the next person, then go to the person after that. Pretty sure it skipped my brother, so it went on to me. Because don't know if you knew this, but one of the Millers, I'm just gonna say the last name, has a gift as far as seeing spirits. In like, she really does believe in this stuff. And one thing that I don't understand about people, like, okay, I get that the spirit's there. I get it. It's, trying to tell you something. I can understand. But why the fuck would you ever, on Thanksgiving, tell someone, hey, your father is standing behind you, he wants to say hello? On fucking Thanksgiving, when you're supposed to be enjoying food with family and not crying. The fuck? So that's pretty much what she did. Now, I know she's seen DeLuca, who's our good family friend. I'm pretty sure I've gotten a visit from him as well. Allison, I believe so too. But with, I'm just gonna say his name, Donnie. This is where it all hit me. As far as, yeah, this is actually true. This is something real that I was at my father's for the weekend. When I was just minding my own business, sleeping, knowing that Donnie would, I mean, as sick as he was, we all knew that he was gonna pass. We just didn't know exactly when. But for some reason, okay. It's really hard to talk about him. As very sick as Donnie was, I couldn't look at him. Not because, he was ugly or anything like that. That's not as to why I couldn't look at him. Couldn't look at him because every single time I looked at him, I cried. And I didn't want to do that in front of him. So I would just barely look at him. And we all, like I said, we all knew that he was going to pass at some point. And I was at my father's when he passed. But overnight, I felt like he came to me first somehow. Because I wasn't there. But I knew something was going on. To where I kept having a repetitive dream over and over and over again. Even if I woke up and went back to sleep, it would still pop up. To where I would immediately get up, grab all my things, go back home like I knew something happened. Come to find out the next morning, my phone, I noticed that my phone was being all blown up. It was my mother. She blew up my phone. I heard one of the voice messages that she left, and I instantly knew right then and there that it happened. That it was in fact quite true. That morning, he passed, and he came to me first to letting me know that he was now gone. And his last words were sorry that he couldn't see me grow up. I guess that's what he said to my mother and my grandmother. That still kills me to this day, you know. Like, that still hurts. But I know he has visited. But, other than that, it's like, no one understands, no one knows when it comes to this stuff. Even if you're a person who doesn't really believe in paranormal, you may or may not get visited by one of your family members, like Sammy has, with his daughter. It's hard. You know what I mean? It's just hard for people. Cause I couldn't look at Krishna. And you probably don't even know who Krishna is. Krishna was a good friend of mine that was in this community for quite a long time. On my main channels though. And he randomly started having like something on his neck, and it grew and grew onto like the side of his face to where it became cancerous, and he was in the hospital for quite a long time, and every video he uploaded made me cry because I don't like seeing people hurt, being in pain. I think that's more as to why I don't want to look at them and cry in front of them, is because I don't like seeing their pain. Like, I feel for them and I want to help them, but I can't. I can only do what I really can do, you know? But it is what it is. But yeah, it still happens. So let's continue this before I start freaking tearing my eyeballs out.
In years, and the construction of General Wade's Military Road, where it is located. That's the name of the road. European roads, I don't know how you guys do it. They're very, very, very strange. Like, it was like A7, 8, or X something.
What?
That's like, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't get it.
Yeah, we have numbered roads here, but nothing with.
I mean, we have named roads, but nothing like A7, 8XH. That's also how their zip codes work. I don't get it.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know.
But to be fair, our stuff probably sounds weird to them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Now, the house known as Boleskine House that stands today was constructed in the 1760s by Colonel Archibald Fraser as a hunting lodge. His father was Simon Fraser, 11th Lord Lovat, or the Fox, and was the notorious Fraser who kept switching sides throughout the Jacobite uprising, and who was later executed by beheading for treason at the Tower of London. Sweet.
Wow.
Very metal.
Okay.
The original hunting lodge was expanded continuously over the years by the Fraser family until around 1830. All the rooms were situated on one floor with 4 bedrooms, a kitchen, servant's attic bedroom that was above the kitchen.
Yeah, I do agree with you on your last comment there, Steven. Also, I didn't know exactly how big the house was, so for some reason in my head last time, I for some reason thought it was a small house, so I'm like, how the fuck does that work? Yeah, I'm dumb. It's bigger than I really fucking thought. I don't know why my brain was like, oh, it's a small house. Nope. The fuck.
Lounge, drawing room, and a library. Now, in comes the infamous Aleister Crowley, known by many names, the Beast of Boleskine, the wickedest man in the world, Great Beast 666, and the other Loch Ness Monster.
I never heard that one before.
Right. He was obviously an infamous occultist, a mystic, and a master Satanist of the 20th century, claiming that ordinary morality was for ordinary people.
That's right.
Now, Crowley bought Boleskine House in 1899 from the Fraser family. So that family lived there that whole time. They lived there for a long time, 100 years.
That's amazing.
That's a few,
That's so cool.
that's a few generations of family.
Yeah, I'd say. And back then, people didn't live like as long as they do today. So
You know, that's a myth.
what?
That's a myth.
Nuh-uh.
People did live as long as we do today. Look into it. I'm telling you.
Okay.
Maybe not during like medieval times.
I'm saying like, but they're
This
like
is the
going
17th
to wars and all kinds of stuff.
We go to
like,
war now.
I understand that, but like the Jacobite War and like Jacobite.
There you go. Jacobite.
Okay. To be honest, there has been some, people who's lived up to like 112. I think there was a woman that was like 120. Like, there are some people that actually do live quite a long time. So you're not wrong there. I do have to side with you.
But like all
on
these
that.
things, like little tiffs with other people, and they just go to war.
I mean, yeah, but we do have war now. I'm okay. Maybe a bigger majority of the population lived longer, but people lived as long then as we do now.
Okay.
Especially rich people. They had access to all the stuff needed to stay alive.
Yeah.
He bought the house from the Fraser family to seclude himself and perform magic from the Book of Sacred Magic of Bremelin the Mage, which he discovered as a member of the British Secret Occult Society, the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. I know a bit about Aleister Crowley. If anybody wants a really good, fun, entertaining version of a deep dive of Aleister Crowley, go check out Last Podcast on the Left if you haven't.
Oh.
It is, there is stuff, we try to stay family friendly. I left out a lot of stuff because we're not going to talk about it on here. Very interesting. He was a powerful man of the bottom. Yes. Now, it was during his time at Boleskine that Crowley became famous for his magic and occult practices, both around Scotland and around the world. Sometimes during this period, Golden Dawn leader Samuel MacGregor Mathers invited Crowley to Paris for advancement in the secret initiatory group, forcing Crowley to abandon the ritual. This is a big deal, and this is a huge part of a lot of the legend that comes from this house.
Wow. Okay.
Now, it said he left without dispelling the 12 kings and dukes of hell that he had summoned, and many locals blamed the house's unlucky history on evil spirits left behind. As he continued to carry various rituals out, Crowley kept a diary. At one point, he claimed that he had been performing in a particularly sunny room when it suddenly turned completely dark, which prompted him to have to use artificial light so that he could carry on.
Oh, okay.
And I've seen this in videos, books, everywhere I've looked, I've heard the story.
Wow. Very specific part to what he was completing.
Well, there's more to this ritual also. It was like he had to have a special room built where he stayed in for like 6 months straight or something.
My God.
If I can find a clip of a breakdown of it, I'll probably throw it in.
Okay.
So they can explain it better than I can. But it is insane the level at which he went at to perform this ritual.
Wow.
It's a lot. Now, his lodge keeper, Hugh Gillies, suffered a number of personal tragedies, including the loss of 2 children. Crowley himself never wanted to admit a mistake, even conceded that his time and the rituals he performed at Boleskine had gotten out of hand. And if you know anything about Aleister Crowley, nothing was too out of hand for him.
Right.
So
Everything was just accessible and doable.
Yeah, to say the least. But so for him to say things got out of hand, things must have really gotten out of hand.
Yeah.
And there is more that happened there. A lot of rumors of, and just if you want to know more about it, look into it.
Okay.
There's a lot of stuff that went down there. Now, there are even rumors that Crowley summoned the Loch Ness Monster for its famous photograph in 1934.
What?
But of course, I'm pretty sure that's been pretty widely accepted to be a fake photo. Now, he is a man surrounded by very strange event and has many labels attached to him, including acts that may or may not have involved minors. So, I mean, as metal as he was, not always a good guy. He lived by a different set of rules than the rest of us.
Yeah.
After returning from Paris, Crowley didn't spend as much time at Boleskine, and he sold the property in 1913. After it was sold, the manor wasn't free from the dark energy that constantly surrounded it. In 1965, an Army major named Edward Grant, who had bought the home, committed suicide by shotgun in Crowley's old bedroom. And I do know from an article that I had read that the housekeeper found him just like seconds after it happened.
Oh no.
Yeah, like immediately.
Oh no.
I'm sure that was pretty traumatizing and disgusting.
Yeah.
I'm sure his head was everywhere. Boleskine was then registered in the ownership of Dorothy C. Priestley, and plans were introduced in 1926 to make significant alterations and extensions to Boleskine House. However, these plans never came to fruition. Now, Boleskine House passed through a series of owners after Priestley, being purchased by Foyers Hotels Limited in 1944, then to David Shirley Crichton Simpson. Why is his name so long? In 1946, who, a year later, sold the property to John Robert Rankin Fullerton of Noblethorpe, Barnsley, Yorkshire.
Another super long name. Wow. Calm down on the number of names, please. That's a lot.
So weird. Now, Boleskine House next came into ownership of Mary Verrett Grant, otherwise known as Mary Lorraine, in 1960. Now, it's alleged that while at an art exhibition in Inverness, Mary Lorraine met Molly Lorraine, but they're not related, who was fascinated by Boleskine's mysterious lore and wanted to buy the property. When she met Mary, who shared her surname, it was too strange to call it a coincidence, and she convinced her husband, Dennis Henry Lorraine, to purchase the property. And he is known as, what did they call him? The Casanova con man, I think is what they call him.
Oh, wow.
And he's
Okay.
I'm pretty sure he's well known in Hollywood of that era. I don't know how he ended up here doing this, but
Yeah,
whatever.
right.
It's very strange. Now, they purchased the estate in 1963 with the intent to use the land as a pig rearing operation. However, Lorraine, who was by now a career con man, was establishing a pig feeding farm at Boleskine as a ruse for the ongoing Cadco scandal further south in Glenross. By the time the law had caught up to Lorraine, he had sold Boleskine House and fled back to the United States. Now, I did my best to understand this scandal,
Okay.
but I believe it goes as follows. Dennis Lorraine acquired loans to build a giant pig farm operation that would employ 2,000 people in the area. And he went on to sell shares of this farm, but the farm was actually never built. And then he took the money and ran, and this went down as the Great Sausage Scandal. That's what they called it.
Wait, what?
That's what they called it.
Okay.
Excuse the fuck me? The what? The Great Sausage Scandal? What the fuck is wrong with people? And your fucking weird ass names. Also, mind you, what the fuck is wrong with people making games on Steam? What are you, grabbing every single name of the entire world of fruits and vegetables to make for a game? Fuck. But mind you, first of all, when you showed the last guy's photo, it looks pretty creepy as hell. And yeah, for real, with the long names, that kind of put the tongue twist in my head, so my head's just like, what? Just, what? What the fuck?
It was he like put it out there that this was a thing there during this time. He wasn't the only one, but I think he was the biggest one.
Oh, okay.
And he said he was building this place and getting loans and stuff because he was about to open up 2,000 jobs, and this is it's not a huge area.
Right.
So
that's something they would have needed.
Yeah, so they
Yeah.
were happy to do it. I think he even went on to like hire contractors and everything. So they were like selling shares of the farm.
Wow.
But then they just never did anything, and they took all the money and left the country.
That is
It's
so mean.
Quite a scam.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure
Absolutely.
they got pretty rich on that.
Mm-mm.
Now, the Led Zeppelin guitarist, producer, and collector of Crowley memorabilia, Jimmy Page, was the next owner of Boleskine House in 1971. Now, Page wanted to remodel the house with a Crowley-like theme. Being in one of, if not the biggest rock bands at the time, Page spent little to no time at the house itself, instead asking trusted friends of his to occupy and overwatch the house. And this is going to be our first kind of venture into paranormal stuff starting here.
Okay.
Those who watched over the property for Page included Eric Hill, Barristan Colby, and Malcolm Dent. And this is where things start to get interesting. Although Jimmy Page never spent a great length of time there, he did everything he could to return the house to how it would have looked during Crowley's ownership. He commissioned an artist, Charles Pace, to paint some Crowley-esque murals on the walls. Now, these were based on the murals in Crowley's Abbey of Thelema in Sicily, discovered by Kenneth Anger in 1955. This is where in the timeline it gets interesting, but you will have to come back to the second half to hear what happened. I'm not giving it up that easily.
Oh, sneaky.
Man, well, got to keep it separated. Now, Page sold Boleskine to Ronald and Annette McGillivray in 1992 for £250,000. I have no idea what the conversion is on that because I don't really, and I don't even understand the UK money. Now, the McGillivrays were related to the Frasers. Now, Ronald sought to reestablish Boleskine as a Fraser estate once more. There, they would gather and share memories in the gardens of Boleskine while traditional bagpipes played for large parties.
Cool. Bagpipes are sweet.
I love bagpipes.
They're so cool.
Yeah, I love them. Upon Ronald's passing, Mrs. McGillivray, why is that hard to say?
Because it looks like a lot.
Mrs. McGillivray sold Boleskine in 2002. When
I do have to admit, I'm pretty sure I was struggling to say that name too. Last time. The fact that you got more information on this than I do, which not saying that like, oh, you got more because I'm jealous. No, I figured you would get more than me because I think that time it was just a last minute thing. I didn't really want to like fully research into it. It would be really weird if like I had almost every similar research as you had before, reviewing this episode. That would have been extremely extra, really, really weird. But yeah, pretty sure I was struggling with that name too.
When asked whether she had experienced any mysterious occurrences at Boleskine House, Annette claimed that she experienced, quote, absolutely none. I'm a non-believer and didn't listen to all that rubbish. We had a great time here.
Rubbish. I love that word.
It's very British.
I love that word.
Very British.
Yes.
It's like cheeky. Now, it was sold to Tiennes Griffioen and Gertruda Johanna Baker. That's it. That's all I'm given. Who occupied the house as a holiday home away from their native Netherlands. However, at approximately 1:40 p.m. on December 23rd, 2015, a motorist on the A82 road reported flames and smoke coming from Boleskine House.
Oh no.
When fire crews arrived, it is estimated up to 60% of the house had already been incinerated, with flames rising up to 20 feet high, or for our European listeners, 3 meters.
That's a big fire.
It's a big fire.
Wow.
The firefighters concentrated on the west wing of the house as the rest of the building had already been severely damaged. The owner's business partner and daughter had gone shopping and returned to find the house ablaze. The fire was thought to have started in the kitchen. However, nobody was believed to be in the house at the time of the fire, and there were no reported casualties. The house was then deemed uninhabitable.
Yeah, I bet. That's
but houses
that's
have
awful.
Houses have fires and people go back to live at them. It's weird because like we're talking about this house that people were living in.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at it now, I think they've actually restored quite a bit of it now. But when you look at it a few years ago, there's like no roof. There's trees growing through the middle of it.
Whoa.
It looks like nobody lived there for
Wow.
decades. So I don't,
That
you know,
must, if they have redone it since, that is a hell of an
well,
undertaking.
I know they've redone it to at least a certain extent
Okay.
because you can go there and you can tour this place.
Oh,
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
it was taken over by a foundation and you can set up and go like walk through. I just don't know how much of the house has been redone,
Mhm.
but they are redoing the house to its former, the way it used to look. They're not trying to make it a new house. They're trying to make it look just like it would have back in the day.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I think I would rather see that.
Yeah, absolutely.
In April 2019, Boleskine House was put on the market. It was purchased in the following July, and the Boleskine House Foundation, SCIO, was established shortly after. They are currently aiming to return the manor to its former glory. The foundation has been awarded £250,000 via the National Lottery Heritage Fund to help with its work. The money will go towards the cost of restoring the interior of the house and will help support the charity's community engagement program. With the Boleskine land now disposed into the ownership of the charity, it is intended that Boleskine House will remain a charitable cause for years, decades, and centuries to come.
Super cool.
And it's cool.
That is awesome.
It is a cool house. I'm sure if you're watching, you've already seen pictures of it. It's nothing like grand like we're used to seeing.
Mhm.
I mean, it's not a bad house either.
Mhm.
I mean, but it is a two almost 300, what is it, 1790, 1890, 1990. I mean, it's 230 years old.
Yeah.
Which is
That's
honestly,
that's old.
now that I've seen it and I'm thinking about that, it's kind of impressive how modern it looks if it was built in 1790.
If it was born in
Hey,
1790.
I corrected myself. Because it doesn't, the more I think about it, I've seen it, it doesn't look like it would have been built in that time.
Maybe they were just ahead of their time.
I don't know. But there's a lot of rumors about the land, obviously, especially with stories back about, Minister Houston laying animated corpses back.
Yeah.
There's other believed stuff that has happened on the land. This land doesn't just go back to when we started the story. It goes back much farther. This was picked land back in I think the 500s.
500s.
Yeah. And then Rome came in and kind of took it and started to, grow out that direction. And that's where we kind of came in. But there is a
Wow.
history before that.
Wow.
I mean, it's Scotland. People have been here since people.
Yeah.
It's
That's
very
crazy.
old land. So a lot of people that I've read online that have been here say that they're not necessarily anything paranormal, but they say there really is like a magical feel in the air when you go there. It's like everything else stops. And it's, it's damp, it's cold,
Yeah.
it's dreary, but it's beautiful.
Somewhere I'd love to go.
Scotland and Ireland, all that's on my bucket
man.
list.
Absolutely.
But this place it's got some history, to say the least. Like some stuff has went down here, and it's, we talk about like in the past and how things are connected and all that. And I mean, there's no weirder connection that you can get than Aleister Crowley.
Mr. Crowley.
Gonna get us copyright. There were not just what we talked about. I mean, obviously he performed other rituals in the house, and I guess that just depends on where you stand as a individual listening to this.
Right.
What do you believe? If you believe in that kind of stuff, then you believe in it. But weird stuff has happened here. People have had bad stuff, and we're going to get into it. We're going to find out some of the stuff that's happened here. I mean, I did read one of them where Aleister Crowley's housekeeper, he had 2 children die while living there.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And the general who committed suicide and stuff like that. So there's some kind of energy or something going on there, but there are stories. There are stories that I think we're going to get into.
Okay. I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm excited for this. I'm not sure why.
They're interesting.
This is an intriguing place
It
for
is-
sure.
It is a very curious one.
Yeah.
Magical, if you will.
Ooh.
Now, there are many notorious houses worldwide, but one of the most storied is, of course, Boleskine House. A strange case, many believe it to be a portal to hell, with the house's past deeply rooted in the macabre and ritualistic magic. Much of the house's reputation, of course, has to do with Aleister Crowley, but it was an infamous location centuries before the Thelemite leader purchased the property. The story of Minister Thomas Houston claiming to have been tasked with laying the animated bodies back to their graves after an evil local wizard raised the dead in Boleskine Graveyard. Understandably, this set a precedent for all things to come, with the house finding it impossible to escape its morbid reputation. The home is believed to be a home to dark energy. Perhaps it is the rituals Crowley performed here, when even his housekeeper, Gillies, suffered several immense tragedies, including the death of 2 children. After General Grant's, a newly married couple moved into Boleskine. However, the happy marriage didn't last. With the house's evil atmosphere interrupting proceedings, the wife was blind, and after a month, the husband walked out on her, leaving her wandering around, confused and heartbroken, unable to make sense of the matter.
What an ass. What a jerk. What?
That's rough. I couldn't,
Dude.
when I found that, I was like, what?
Wow.
That,
Like, oh, you're blind. No, I'm out. What?
I
Get
think she
outta
was
here.
already blind. Yeah, she was already blind.
Was-
Yeah, I do 100% agree with Megan here. That was, in fact, a very asshole move on the husband. And I was wondering of, like, what the fuck ever happened to the poor woman who was blind? 'Cause, yeah, she was already blind when they got married and moved in and everything, so, like, I wonder whatever fucking happened to her.
The wife was blind.
Oh, okay. I thought like she went blind after that. Okay. Sorry.
I
But
mean,
still,
maybe,
what
but
an ass.
that is possible. I didn't come across that, but it is possible. But
Mm.
man,
Mm-mm.
that is so wrong.
So bad.
If you went blind, I would just smack your butt and you wouldn't know where it was coming from. Now, by the time Jimmy Page bought the house, it was pretty run down. And initially, he thought it would be a great environment to write songs in. He spent little to no time there and left it in the care of his close friend, Malcolm Dent. This poor guy.
Oh, no.
Now, it was Dent who was to experience the most shocking things. Dent once recalled, quote, Jimmy Page caught me at a time in my life when I wasn't doing a great deal and asked me to come up and run the place. I never did establish why he fixed on me, end quote. He continued explaining that when he moved into the property, quote, it was a wreck. It had been more or less abandoned. There'd been at least one fire there. Parts of the building were missing, and it had been badly patched up. The grounds, which at one time had been very nicely laid out, were gone to hell, end quote.
Mm.
There were more fires in the past. I think this place had 3 or 4.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's been over the years, though. I mean, it's been fixed up, burnt, fixed up, burnt.
That's a lot. Dude,
It is a lot.
fire is rough. It's rough.
Well, there's a claim that people make that there's so many fires because it's hell opening up to claim what's theirs. It's kind of cool.
I get it.
Now, Dent was a skeptic when it came to the paranormal and the house's connections to it, but strange things started happening to him before long. He heard rumblings from the hallway, which only stopped when he went to investigate, but continued when he went back to his room. Intrigued, this led him to researching the house, and one day he came across a text explaining that the rumbling was said to be Lord Lavat's head, which was strange as he was executed in London. Now, Dent would explain, quote, above Boleskine, there's a place called Erogi, which is supposed to be a geographical center of the Highlands. Boleskine was then the nearest consecrated ground to Erogi, and it's thought that his soul, or part of it, ended here, end quote. Unfortunately for Dent, the worst was yet to come. He would endure the most, quote, terrifying night of my life when living at the property. In the middle of the night, he was woken up by the sounds of what he thought was a wild animal snorting and banging on his bedroom door. Understandably petrified, this continued for what seemed like hours. Dent was too scared to open the door until morning and found that there was nothing there. Chillingly, when looking back on the ordeal, he said, quote, whatever was there was pure evil.
Oh my God.
Now, one night, a friend stayed over and she awoke in the middle of the night, panicked as she claimed she had been attacked by, quote, some kind of devil.
Now, I do want to go back on the whole dude being murdered somewhere else.
Lightning.
That freaking hand. I think the reason why his spirit ended into Beluskin house is gotta be because of Aleister Crowley summoning things. So I think a lot of the things that has happened inside that house was practically due to of the black magic and whatnot that Crowley has already summoned. But also those are morally the reasons as to why the 2 kids died, I believe, and the general that died. I'm just gonna say those are the reasons. But I'm also saying I think there was some other spirits that shouldn't have been there.
In the sense of
Fucking hand. But did get there because it was summoned to be there and nowhere else. I think that's as to why. But mind you, with the snorting sound, I'm not gonna really 100% say that it was a hellhound, but those are the only thing I can really say. Because as far as I know, there's no, like, animals around, I don't think. So the only thing I can really hear is either, like, a very angry horse that might have died on the property, or a fucking hellhound, which leads to who? Fucking Crowley. Because Crowley gave 0 fucks about summoning like 12 demons and not doing anything about it.
Of dread. Doors started to slam open and close, chairs moved around, and rugs rolled up on their own.
What?
That's intense.
That's all, dude.
Allegedly.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
On the website spookyisles.com, in an article about Beluskin House, I was able to find this also. Quote, there was the old disused hunting lodge set in a spectacularly scenic spot for a picnic, a house that beckoned the curious in for wary investigation of its echoing rooms. This was haunted by a white lady, but no one could tell us why she flitted through the gloomy chambers of the servants' quarters. And I found another article that said some point in the house's history, there is a bridge right up the road where I don't know if it's fact or not, but it is said that a bride and groom on their wedding day riding the carriage fell off the bridge and died.
Oh my God. On their wedding day?
On their wedding day.
They
They didn't even get to do the fun thing.
They were on their way.
To do the fun thing. But this is where a lot of it actually ends.
What?
The stories of ritualistic magic, demons, and hauntings all seem to be subsided since the home was burnt down. But recently it was open to visitation about a year ago. So what do people going there have to say about it? Of course, we went to the internet to find out. And honestly, I was very disappointed. I truly hit a roadblock. I expected this place to be riddled with stories. I guess thinking back on it now, though, you know, it was a lord's home, then another rich person's home, then Aleister Crowley's home, Jimmy Page's. So this place wasn't like open to the public or anything.
Right. Somebody owned it for almost the entire time.
Yeah. And then even like when it exchanged hands a few more times, like people were just it was a house. People were living here and it was a house. It wasn't set up for, you know, visitation until like, I don't know, like a year and a half ago, maybe.
That's crazy. So after the foundation got it then?
Yeah.
And did their renovations?
I think they fixed it up enough to start letting people come out to the property.
Okay, that makes sense.
I'm still not 100% sure how much of it has been done. I just know that one of the pictures I saw, but it might have been from right after the fire. There was like no roof, like the whole building's just open, and there were like trees growing in the middle of it, which is weird to me.
It is super weird, but again, we've brought it up before. That always reminds me that Life After People documentary.
But this would have been
thing,
such a
but,
short
like-
period of time. It's not like, all right. So
So you're saying like had a full grown trees grow in the middle of the house?
Let me clarify. I'm not saying I'm surprised stuff grew there, because I mean, fire puts nitrogen into the ground, which makes it more fertile.
Yeah.
I get that. I used to be in landscaping, but it was the time frame. To me, it doesn't seem like enough time for stuff to be that big growing in
For
there.
literally trees.
Yes. And it seemed like every room, like I'll show you when we're done, and I'll probably put a picture of it in here as I'm talking about it, but there's like this overhead view of the house, and it looks like there's a big tree growing in the back, like the back room. I don't know what room that would be, maybe
Mhm.
the kitchen area or something, and it looks pretty big.
Wow.
And trees take a long time.
Yeah. I mean, unless it was just a super ginormous weed or something.
That is not a weed. I
okay,
mean, it would have
okay.
been like, if I had to, for scale, it would have been a weed the size of this room.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It was huge. So
That's crazy.
I scoured. I searched for stories. I searched Boleskine in every fashion I could think of.
You always do.
I mean, sometimes I don't have to try as hard because I can
Right.
find everything. But this one, I was like, this can't be it. This
Wow.
can't be it.
Interesting.
But there's like documentaries about this place and how haunted it is.
What?
I'm telling you, man, the magic of Aleister Crowley it's big. It's big because
Mhm.
everything and everywhere he went, like weird stuff happened.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to find the documentary of Mr. Malcolm Dent that I came across, and I'm probably going to clip it up a little bit, and I'll put it in right here so that everybody can see what he actually went through and hear it from him. And
I had no idea why he'd bought Boleskine House, the estate. I hadn't ever heard of Aleister Crowley. So arriving at Boleskine and discovering, one, that it has a history and a past, and a pretty weird past at that. Two, that there are certain things still going on there. Three, there are people who will visit the place to experience this and even practice it. And four, that one of my oldest friends seemed to be actively involved one way or another in this. There was a lot of things to sort of take in. Episode that made the biggest impression on me was sitting in bed or half lying in bed, and something outside the door of my bedroom was snuffling under the door, which it started off as if it was a dog and then became very much more powerful as a sound and as a noise and as an impression, to the extent that I snapped on a light beside the bed and was, well, I have to confess, very, very frightened, because it became extremely noisy and as if the door was going to come through. But I had a feeling as to what the creature was, and it was huge and very, very evil. And I was very, very frightened. Crowley, when he was raising the various demons and spirits at Boleskine, failed to banish all of them back from whence they came, and that one or two residues had been left behind. And he actually mentions that he had left this one bricked up, in, as he put it, in the center of Boleskine House. The room I was in that night was the center of Boleskine House. We wouldn't allow that to dominate our existence or our lives. Boleskine House was essentially a family house where a family was living, having as good a time as it could as a family, and attempting to blossom as a family. You had to acknowledge that somebody would come in from outside and have some incredible freaky time while you were there, and you saw it and witnessed it, and they were responsible for it because of their heads. House was good at that. House responded to the Boleskine House responds to people.
But the weird thing that I have to say about this scenario is he went on to state that he met his wife while living here, and they ended up living there and taking care of the property for quite a while.
Okay.
They had kids while living here and everything else. And it was like nothing else seemed to happen. He lived like he was pretty happy. Now there's another story that I didn't put in here because I couldn't really find any other accounts of it, but supposedly during a dark magic ritual, Aleister Crowley summoned a demon, and then they trapped the demon in the center of the house, like in a brick chamber.
Okay.
And this is totally believed. And what Malcolm Dent had said was that his room where all that stuff happened was right by that. Like it shared a wall.
Which could lead to him hearing those kind of crazy things every once in a while.
I mean, it could, but it was also the 70s and people did a lot of drugs.
This is very true.
I mean, and he was friends with dude from Zeppelin.
I don't know, man.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But let's get into some of these reviews. Now on TripAdvisor.com, someone named Chelsea B wrote, quote, I recently had the honor of touring the Boleskine estate, and it was nothing short of life-changing. I took a solo tour with Stephen, and the amount of knowledge I learned was truly mind-blowing. That's what we do. I was particularly interested in the mystical traditions and history of the land, as well as the surrounding nature. Stephen was well-versed in every aspect, and that's an understatement. He showed me the beautiful grounds thoroughly, explaining the plans for the estate's sustainable future. The Boleskine House Foundation has ambitious plans that will surely benefit the community, the biodiversity of the land, and the world at large. From the start, it was made clear that this was my tour and we could walk and talk at my leisure. By the end of the tour, I was thoroughly questioning the meaning of life itself. Not only were the views breathtaking, but my mind was also thoroughly stimulated. I'd highly recommend a visit to Boleskine to anyone interested in the history or the mysticism, as well as nature and sustainability practices for recreating a bountiful ecosystem. There's no doubt in my mind that I will be returning. Take the tour. You won't regret it. Everything happens for a reason. Now, why did I add this story? Because people who go here maybe don't have a paranormal experience, but it obviously changes how they feel.
It seems to give off this energy, like the land itself just gives off this energy.
I dug extra deep on this one. Okay. Dug real deep.
Real deep.
Yep. And I looked into this because, man, what a glowing review. She took a personal tour. She's really attractive.
Oh, that explains it.
She's really good looking.
Okay.
I found her picture and I was like, yeah, of course he was so attentive. She's like young and really pretty.
Well, good for her.
No,
Getting
but I'm
what she
just,
wants, you
but I'm
know?
just saying, like, you're like, it's a glowing review, and I'm sure to you, it great. I think Steven might have thought you were hot, but there are more people who go there, and they just, you know, it's like a life-changing experience for them.
Right.
And a lot of magic happened on this land.
I'm just saying, Scotland, I'd probably think it was absolutely magical if we visited too.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
And then add in specific places like this.
Might actually be able to find people there with our last name.
Yeah.
Now, Ryan Goldfish 5 on Reddit.com wrote 5 years ago.
Goldfish
I don't know.
5.
I don't give them their names. I just write them.
Okay.
Quote, I've heard quite a few people take it relatively serious, and some people go over there on weird haunting trips and stuff. And it certainly feels like a pretty creepy place when you see it. People I know who are aware of it are quite creeped out by the place. I think a couple of friends of mine have actually stayed out there. The people I've spoken to about it all thinks Crowley was a total freak.
I mean, who really doesn't think that?
If you go listen to the last podcast on Left episode, you will find out just how much of a freak he is. And I don't mean it in a bad way. I'm not here to shame anybody. You know, we all got our stuff. But man, he was he makes me blush.
Oh boy, that's hard to do.
Yeah.
So
don't tell people that. They're gonna think I'm some kind of
what?
Bad person.
You're not a bad person. Everybody has their things, right, baby?
Yeah. Now, on the same Reddit thread, someone named Crozer27 wrote, quote, I worked with a couple people who had worked out there. They didn't say it was haunted as such, but weird stuff happened. Cold breezes in closed rooms, doors slamming, etc. Also, there was a pond that local sheep kept drowning in, but that might be more down to sheep being dumb. And like, to an extent, I agree with this. If you found a sheep or two, maybe.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
But if sheep are always drowning in there, is
something else.
Maybe something's drawing them to the water.
Something else is going on.
I mean, that's the first thing I thought of was like, if you said a sheep down there,
right?
I'd be like, yeah, what a dumb sheep.
Or 2, maybe 3.
But if it's something
over
that
a span of time,
continuously happens,
Yeah.
something is drawing them to the water.
Ooh, creepy.
Now, one last one from TripAdvisor.com in August 2023 from someone named Higher Than Your Lamib. I don't know.
Lamib?
That's what it looks like.
It does look like that.
They wrote, quote, "It was one of the best things we did this holiday. Visited Boleskine House one day during the week. We were really the only ones there. We couldn't go inside, but had wonderful audio tour and view of the house and its surroundings. Spoke to Stephen, a volunteer there, and he was so helpful and told us many interesting things. It was a fascinating talk, and we felt like we randomly met a wise sage. Thank you so much for the experience. I highly recommend this for anyone interested in Aleister Crowley and the magical past. Thank you." Stephen's the man.
For real.
I'm just saying, like, and these weren't the only accounts I found of this amazing guy named Stephen. Like, people love this guy. He must be like an incredible guy. You must have got the audio tour because you were a dude. You weren't a hot 20-something-year-old girl. He was like, yeah, I'll let you in. Come on in. It'd be cool, but he ain't talking to you.
Yeah, right. Be like, here, you get the pamphlet. Feel free to walk around.
But I'm telling you, many, many, many reviews brought up Stephen.
Wow.
So, Stephen, if you're out there, keep doing what you're doing, man, because you're a good guy, apparently. People
Good
love
job.
you.
Good job.
People love him. It is just so weird how many times I saw his name pop up.
That's
in
pretty
a
cool,
review.
though. That's pretty cool having,
Yeah.
and, for having somebody who knows what they're talking about the place, and then has like the personality to, just make all these people feel so comfortable and really, really enjoy their tour.
There was not one bad word spoken about him.
Wow.
Not one.
That's pretty cool.
And there were complaints
good
from
job.
there were complaints from the past,
Mhm.
like past tour guides, but not him.
Wow.
So
Super cool.
I just think that's a very strange, because usually, like, if you find a place,
Mhm.
people will complain about somebody that other people will like. Not this guy. This dude is seemingly loved by everyone he comes in contact with. Stevens, we're just the best.
Yeah.
Now
You
Now, this is where the story ends. Whether you believe in magic and black rituals, hauntings, cursed land, and whatever else it may be, it does seem like something is happening here. But what that is, it's up to you to decide. And that's it. That is where the information train, pulled into the station. It wasn't going anymore.
Well, that kind of sucks, because
I
now
mean,
I'm just kind of,
But
I don't know.
you have to give it its due as far as, like, this was Aleister Crowley's house. So even let's just say, for the sake of argument, you don't believe in any of that stuff.
Right.
But we have talked in the past that we do believe in things that happen in a place that leave an impression.
Mm-hmm.
And things did happen. Not even magical things. Things happened when everybody's lived there. Mainly
Right.
before Jimmy Page, honestly. Like,
Mhm.
that's when the worst of it happened.
Yeah.
But people died there. We got into people being SA'd there. Minors, just, bodies. There's bodies everywhere. You got to remember that.
Children died.
There are bodies everywhere.
Yeah.
The cemetery, I'm sure, is, one contained little area, but I am sure there are bodies all over that property.
Wow.
So that's what I'm saying. You have to kind of think of it in that way, because while you may not believe in magic, I don't even know where I stand on that, because it's interesting to obviously, but I don't know if I believe in it. But I do believe that there are bodies and things happen there. And we've said time and time again that, that's what we think does it.
Right.
So I don't know. It's confusing.
I don't know either.
Well, you better figure it out, because I got to ask you a question. These are always my favorite times to hit you with this. Baby, Mrs. Me,
Mm-hmm. Yes, Mr. You.
when it comes to Boleskine house, I always want to call it castle for some reason. When it comes to Boleskine House and the magical doings of Mr. Aleister Crowley, do you believe that it's haunted?
I don't know. I think I agree with a lot of what you said right before that. Whether you believe in rituals and magic and things like that, there is a lot of stuff that happened here. There was like, the small wars and like the fights that happened way back in the day, and then who knows what happened before that. So I'm gonna say, yeah, I'm gonna say there is definitely the recipe here for things to happen. People have had experiences here, whether they believed it to be paranormal or not. It's definitely some of those unexplainable things. So I'm gonna say yeah.
Okay.
What about you, babe?
I'm gonna say yes.
Oh, okay. I did not expect that.
I don't know if I believe in the magical aspect, but the
Mhm.
one thing I do believe is that they believed.
Mm.
And I do believe that you have the ability to put enough energy back into something to make it a reality.
That was a very good way of putting that.
And again, people are buried on this property. People
Mhm.
died here. People probably died here in ways that we can't even fathom.
Right.
Ways that
Yeah.
we couldn't even comprehend because we live in the modern age.
I don't think I'd want to, but
Yeah.
you're not
And I
wrong.
mean, there's been died here and people were hurt here. And I mean, it wasn't always like this, but it did happen. So I just have to believe it. It's Aleister Crowley's house. I like I said, I don't really believe in any of the magical stuff, but I believe he really believed.
Yeah.
I believe he could have.
He definitely did.
I believe he could have put enough energy into thinking this stuff that he could have brought something in, or at least brought something from the land up. So I don't know. I would be weary of like the place. I still want to see it. I still want to visit it. I'd still go there, but
Yeah.
I don't think I'd be so quick to just brush off every little thing that happened. Like I think I'd be pretty open minded to something being there.
Right.
It's-
Maybe not a portal to hell.
I don't know, because
But-
it is odd that this place catches on fire all the time.
I mean, that is kind of crazy.
And that is a good line that I read, that that's hell trying to reclaim what belongs to it. And Aleister Crowley was pretty heavy on the dark magic side. He was
Sorry to cut you off there. From my perspective, I also do think 100% believe in this. Because, I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, so many times the house got caught on fire, but, like, the only way that you can really link that towards is the 12 demons that Crowley has summoned. Because I don't think there's once a house similar like that to where, I mean, similar as Crowley, to where black magic has happened, all that has happened, but like that nothing has happened. To where with this one, the house got caught on fire like so many times, unexpectedly, but probably for a specific reason. 2, that it's all linked to Crowley. Everything that has happened was because of Crowley. Everything before Crowley never happened because he wasn't there at the time. And now that he is, shit's been going on. And I'm pretty sure that it's still probably going on. But I mean, as a history person, I would love to visit that place too.
also pretty heavy on the power bottom side, but that's neither here nor there. It doesn't make him a bad person. I just think it's funny. Because if you see Aleister Crowley, he looks like somebody's grandpa. And I just find it hysterical. But he was a weird guy.
Yes.
I do think it is. I think all the stuff is there that we usually talk about. So that means it's going to get what are we calling it? I guess it's seal of approval.
Yeah.
The big old seal of approval.
I don't really do that anymore.
I know.
I'm going to rip that from an old episode and put it on a button.
Do it.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. It's coming back. And if you're a viewer on YouTube and you don't know what that is, you're gonna find out.
Yeah.
It used to be a big part of the show. So yeah, I mean, that is it. It's, Boleskine House. It is pretty legendary, honestly. And it might be legendary place that you've never heard of, but I promise you, it is legendary.
I'd never heard of it. I mean, I know who Aleister Crowley was, but I didn't associate.
Mr. Crowley.
See, you get to do it, but I can't.
You did it
Come
twice.
on.
I'm just getting my one.
I don't know. I never associated him with like a specific place, I guess. So it's kind of cool to like find out where that was.
I'm almost positive there's also a place over in California associated with him, which is actually what I was looking for.
Really?
When I found this.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. So who knows? Maybe there'll be another one coming up. But before we end this thing out, I do want to give a shout out to my niece who goes by Silver in the Ghost Pack, I believe, on YouTube.
That's right.
And she's been watching and sharing our episodes with her entire community. And she's my niece. Of course, I love her. And keep up the good work. I actually watch them all, the ones she does on us, and I comment. And if I can get into a live, I pop in.
We did that. Was it last night?
Was it last night?
Yeah, I think it was last night.
No, it was the night before.
You sure?
I don't know. It was either last night or the night before. But it's fun, and she definitely helped put us out to, an audience that I don't know if we would have reached. So thank you.
Thank you, Silver.
Shout out to her friend that she had on, Mikey Sue's 4, I believe is what he went by on YouTube. Mikey Sue's 4. So, and we did get the request. And who was your friend that requested the same location?
Oh, Lindsay.
So it's been requested twice now. So we're probably going to do it next week.
I'm excited.
Yeah. It's been asked twice. So I got to do it.
Got to now. Moving to the top of the list.
Yeah, it has to. But anyways, I think this is where we will end this. Where can they find us?
Well, they can find us on Instagram at @ForTheBooze_podcast and on Facebook at ForTheBooze.
You can also find us on X at For The Booze. You can find us right here on YouTube at For The Booze, on TikTok at For The Booze. I got them all.
Yep.
And if you would like to join the ranks of our most lovely Patreons,
Our beautiful Patreon people,
we have Joe the Matador Mattern. He's such a warrior, that guy. We have Teresa O'Reilly Donnell. I cannot do this.
I knew you were going to say that.
I got stuck. And we've got Tina Bobina Madat. I got nothing. Why am I so bad?
You just need to stop before this has to be a thing.
It's going to be a thing.
No.
It's so fun.
No.
It's so funny. But don't also, if you have a listener story or a suggestion that you would like us to cover, by all means, send it in to ForTheBooze.com. We're weird today. And we're going to get out of here. We have other videos to go make today.
We do.
So why don't you go ahead and take us out, babe?
Well, thank you, everybody, so much for listening. And we will see you in the next one.
Bye. Watch out for Aleister Crowley, the power bottom.
Mr. Crowley.
Hey, don't get us copyright.
I love that, Mr. Crowley at the bottom of fucking what? Also, I do appreciate for the shout out. Damn. I don't normally get shout outs a lot by family member like you, but I do get shout outs by damn it, CC. You missed it. I got shouted out. Or at least the channel got shouted out there, CC. By For The Booze here. You just fucking missed it too. Rude. Rude. Apparently I've been getting messages on Facebook Messenger from the group chat I'm in. Very concerned about that. But that was a pretty good episode, to be honest. And you're also very, very welcome. The fact that my entire community also wants to help out and loves you guys, and speaking of which, I think someone in my family member is live on Twitch. Really makes me want to question, why did I even tell him, hey, I can help you? And I'm like, why the fuck did I do that for? But other than that, Mikey got shouted out too, which I don't know what happened with him too. So I'll have to tell him. Which is funny because I did ask him earlier if he was available to come up on stream today for this, and I maybe had a feeling that something was gonna come up and that he should have been here, and now I know. So yeah, he should have been here. I do like how you guys did with the wizarding wand. Really? I didn't even know that. Like I texted him, was it an hour before I was gonna be doing this stream, so I wonder why I got no word. Or no answer, rather. And yeah, I'm now gonna have to let him know. But, for what? All the memes are still in my head from that entire video. That was really funny. In the video before too. But I do appreciate for the shout out. Was not expecting that. And I do like how it was written too. Especially with my favorite color. So that was nice. And yeah. Those of you that have my main channels, I am starting to play some new games. Well, one of them I tried to start playing, and it's like, nope, I don't wanna, because it wants me to get rid of Prism Live Studio or some bullshit like that in order for it to start. So I don't know what the fuck's going on with that. But there was a game that I was streaming earlier called Hellbound Sienna's Sacrifice, if I'm saying her name correctly. It's a Viking game. Well, Viking silver. And for some reason, I don't know if it was the software that I was using or if YouTube in general just did not like the Viking game. So it would shut the YouTube side off like twice on me. But yet it still played on Twitch. I don't know how I feel about that. So I'm gonna try to figure out what the fuck to do with that. There's another game called Dungeon Born that I want to challenge stream as well. And then obviously gonna fix Diablo 4. Never started that, which I tried to earlier. Oh, and don't forget that I'm hoping it's every single day. Don't know how many days of this is gonna happen, but I'm gonna be doing some cooking streams. And I'm gonna try my best to literally do something about freaking StreamYards by adding or being able to stream on both YouTube and Twitch on those times, or days, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. If I can. If not, it would only probably have to be tomorrow that would only be on YouTube, and hopefully the next day it would be YouTube and Twitch if StreamYard won't be an a-hole about it. So I will be baking, I will be making some food live on stream this week. And hopefully, doing things on this channel. Jody, you've missed it. I got a shout out by Steve and Megan. I don't know why I'm doing the accents again. Like I said, it's been happening for ever since I've been here. I don't know why. But yeah, I'm gonna try to fix some things. I got some new thumbnail arts going on for the channels. I might redo some for the Ghost channel as well. We'll see how that goes, but for now, I'm working on the ones for my main channels. Other than that, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night, and I still appreciate you for the shout out. I will sure enough tell Mikey that he got shouted out too. As the church here is just like, yep, time to end it. Ding!